In an unprecedented year, when fear and uncertainty shook the country and the economy, the Boston Fed's pledge to provide public service that makes a difference became more critical than ever.
There are a wide variety of activities that the Boston Fed undertook in 2020. Many of them were designed to really focus on the problems that the entire country was facing with the pandemic.
One of the largest undertakings was the Main Street Lending Program, an initiative designed to keep credit flowing to small and medium-sized businesses and nonprofits. The program extended more than $16.5 billion to more than 1,800 companies, many in the hard-hit service, retail, and arts industries.
The program evolved quite significantly in terms of borrower eligibility, loan term, loan sizes. So, for example, the initial program that was announced had a minimum loan size of $1 million. And by the time we ended the program, the minimum loan size went to $100,000. And that was based on feedback from potential borrowers. The geographic reach ultimately ended up very broad. We did settle loans in 49 of the 50 states and 2 U.S. territories.
The pandemic presented problems that challenged researchers to find new and creative ways to gather and analyze pertinent, timely economic data. Boston Fed economists partnered with Yale and Stanford to create the Yale Labor Survey, which provides policymakers with real-time information about the U.S. labor market.
It was really crucial to keep the bank president and the board of directors sort of abreast of all these rapidly evolving changes, and it required having up-to-date data on labor markets, the health situation.
Research and analysis was also critical to anticipate the needs of the community. Published works throughout the year touched on topics like the vulnerability of the essential workforce and health insurance gaps in New England.
In our region, we have a unique perspective, and we've been thinking about some of these issues of job quality, racial wealth disparities, childcare, for so long that we were poised to use that expertise and leverage it to think a little bit deeper about, okay, what might happen? What do the data suggest are likely trends given who's being impacted? During a pandemic, people are hungry to understand, and all of the information that they can triangulate from to make informed decisions is important.
Like so many other organizations, the Boston Fed adapted to meet the challenges of the pandemic. Innovative projects such as developing the FedNow service, the Federal Reserve's forthcoming instant payments platform, and Project Hamilton, the bank's research exploration of a central bank digital currency, were not put on hold. In fact, they thrived in the virtual environment.
We saw it as an opportunity. We have a big country, and there's a lot of great places to find great talent across this country. I think you get a much more diverse pool of candidates when you're able to think remotely. Based upon the support of our technical teams at the Fed, we're able to onboard those persons and have them interact with teams really without any friction whatsoever.
Equity has always been a focal point for the Boston Fed, and special attention was given to supporting our diverse workforce amid nationwide protests and calls for racial justice. Listening sessions were conducted to hear and respond to the needs of employees, and employee-led resource groups frequently reached out to and checked in with both on-site and remote staff.
The employee resource groups really did a lot from a variety of different standpoints. So opening conversations, sharing themselves, creating a safe space for people to feel comfortable to share ideas, thoughts, concerns, and things like that. The fact that all of these conversations have been continuous has been adding on, and I've seen a lot of courage from people to be able to speak up.
Outside the bank, community outreach projects aimed at bettering economic outcomes for vulnerable populations progressed throughout the region.
We continue to expand the Working Cities model to working communities. We are doing more work now in Vermont and Maine. We're spending a lot of time thinking about quality of jobs. Workforce training is very important.
The pandemic is not over, and challenges remain as we head into 2021. The bank is ready to face them by continuing to listen, learn, and create opportunities for positive change.
There's a lot of work to be done in the recovery period. It's still going to take us a number of years to get back to where we were. And for some people, they were affected much more than others during the pandemic. So we have to think about those parts of society, those firms that were disproportionately affected, and see what we can do to try to get them back on a more stable footing.
This has been a Federal Reserve Bank of Boston production. We'd like to thank our subject matter experts for lending their voices to this audio story: Boston Fed President Eric Rosengren, Maureen Savage, Daniel Cooper, Beth Mattingly, Bob Bench, and Ana Gomez.